clue it was gonna go this long.
I saw the pilot and I thought, oh, right, great.
Oh my God.
Nobody really knew. Nobody had a clue. You know, we did the first episode and it was fun.
I remember when I saw the pilot for the first time and I thought, well, that's kind of okay. I don't know if it's going to get picked up. I should probably go and find another job. It was a pretty unanimous consensus that I'd be looking for another job real soon.
Well, it's okay, because I can be a waitress.
I was supposed to do 8 shows.
It was funny because when the show started, I was about to turn 17 and I was going to go off to college. And I remember when the show got picked up, I deferred a year thinking, oh, you know what, it's never going to go. Who makes teen dramas? You know, that's not going to last. No one wants to see that.
And then it turned into weeks and months and months and years and years and years and years and years. And here we are.
I'm obviously not going back to college, but who would have thunk it?
Tonight, Beverly Hills 90210. The final goodbye.
It's kind of scary. First time I'd been on a big sound stage. Here I was embarking on a show that would inevitably be globally successful. Kind of scary. You know, you make a pilot and you don't know whether it's actually going to get picked up, let alone do you think it's going to be a series that's going to run for 10 years.
I just remember hoping that everyone liked me and that we all got along.
You know her?
Yeah, I know her.
She's hot. She is the biggest bitch at West Beverly High.
I had no idea what to expect, though. I had never done anything like this with a group of my peers this large, so I was very nervous, actually.
And I remember seeing Luke, because I knew him in New York, and saying, oh man, hi, how you doing? And he said, oh, Gabrielle. And he said, man, I'm so nervous. And he said, you know, I hope this goes on.
I was really nervous because I felt kind of apart from them, that I was kind of just thrust into this and they were kind of looking at me weird because of my dad.
Girls, it's the nature of them to do this. They sort of form little cliques and clubs and they get mad at each other about little things back and forth.
Oh, yeah, there was vicious cliques. Yeah.
There are only so many red dresses you can have in one shot. I mean, come on.
We were all pretty much the same age, or at least lying that we were the same age. And we spent a lot of time together.
We were all very friendly right off the bat, towards like my little sister, and that just sort of happened.
Brian and I bonded instantly because we were the same age.
Well, you know, there are occasional groupings here and there, that's for sure.
It was basically the girls against the boys.
We had a torrid love affair, me and Jenny, for quite some time. It just ended, actually, because her boyfriend found out. Anyways, no, I'm kidding.
We were all thrown in this together, no one knowing anybody really too well, and we all started to form relationships, you know, that grew into family, really.
It was very hard for me and Brian because we were in a relationship when I started the shows.
You owe me.
What did you have in mind?
I'll think of something.
Oh, not that child, David. David!
My first impression of Gabby was I remember meeting her just going, yeah. You're Andrea, perfect, absolutely perfect.
And I remember Jason walking in. He was so late, and I was like, what are you doing being late? This is like Aaron spelling, and it says his house, and it says, I was like, oh my God.
There's this guy named Priestley. I love him.
He's Brandon. To me, he's just Brandon, you know. I try to really always see him as Brandon. Jason does not exist.
Early on in the show, you know, no one was really discussing their age. Jay was the most elusive. No one knew how old he was. He was probably 16 years old. When I started the show, I was 21, but he acted like he was 30 years old. Finally, One day, Shannon comes running on set. I know how old you are. You're 21. And Jay turned red. How do you know how old I am? How do you know that? She's like, I went in your dressing room and I looked in your wallet and I saw your license. And Jay just about threw her through the wall. That was quite an exciting day.
Jason is always very gracious and friendly to everyone. The crew loves him. Everyone loves Jason, you know. He's a good guy.
I hung out with Jason the most when we first started doing the show. I don't know if there was any real reason for it. We just kind of seemed to have a lot in common and had fun.
And I love him forever. He, you know, I have a very special place in my heart for Jason.
Thanks.
When I watched the pilot, the one big thing that just kept resounding in my head was, I really need to cut my hair. I just had a bad mullet, man. Really bad salad going. You know, but you know, it was the time, right? You know, it was the 80s.
That's great. Do some more.
I probably would have had a more consistent hairstyle over the years.
You know, that classic, like, you know, hockey player haircut.
And I would have cut out the blonde.
It's not plastic surgery, it's a hair color. If you don't like it, you'll change it back.
There are, you know, a lot of horrifying images come up, but I just block those out and say, I love it all.
The kinds of comments I get from my mother are like, Lindsay, don't flare your nostrils because on our TV, they're the size of tennis balls. It was almost like a weird dream, like I was watching myself on something that I can't explain it, just strange.
My butt was really big. I thought, man, I gotta work on that.
My wife says I have no ass.
Really?
You know, it was, you know, pretty long, but then long in the back. You know, I had that kind of hair curtain going in the back.
Scary. Oh, how embarrassing.
Yeah, you hate your voice, you hate your hair, everything. You just, you know, you can't believe that's really what you look and sound like, I think.
He just gets to me. He always gets to me.
We all did bad things in the 80s. Didn't we?
Coming up, Luke Perry reveals one of the most important requirements of being on 90210.
We probably have one of the bigger mouthwash budgets in Hollywood.
The cast bids farewell to their favorite hangout.
Thank you and good night to the Peach Pit, ladies and gentlemen.
And exclusive home movies show us another side of Ian Ziering.
10 years, 90210. Don't I look good? Yeah.
All when Beverly Hills 90210, The Final Goodbye returns.
Yeah, you said something about work. I didn't know it about manual labor.
I had such a crush on Brian when we first started. I just thought he was so cute, and I feel so proud to get to work with him. And to have that bond over the years has really helped endear, I think, our characters to each other.
He was the most in love with the David and Donna storyline.
You like your surprise?
Because that was like two people really growing.
How'd I get so lucky?
You waited.
Ultimately, I just want her to be with David and see where I wish I could see where their lives go when the show ends.
funny, you know, in the nature of our program, there's, because we swap spit a lot, and we jump around on each other a good bit. Hygiene is a real issue.
Can I make one teeny weeny suggestion?
What?
Brush your teeth.
You really know how to kill a romantic moment, don't you?
A lot of deodorant gets used on our set, a lot of mouthwash. We probably have one of the bigger mouthwash budgets in Hollywood, I would guess.
I'm reading the script for the first time, and then there's like a kiss. Like, oh my God, I have to kiss Jenny.
I've been through so many boyfriends on the show.
And I didn't really know her all that well. I think it was like episode 10, and I was nervous, you know? So I said, Jenny, actually, I said, come here.
I've never kissed more boys in my life than I have on this show. That is a scary concept.
What do you say we like break the ice a little bit, just so we're comfortable with this scene? And she said, what do you mean? You want to run the lines? And I said, yeah, something like that.
I've gotten more action on this show.
And so I pulled her into the into the garage. I said, give me some sugar, baby. And I kissed her a couple times. And it was purely research. So I thought. I walked away feeling much more than research had been done.
It's got my name on
Is
it.
that you? I got the girls when they got there.
And there's a reason you wear bike shorts for these. Stop. This is dirty.
Oh my God, is it gonna crash?
This is our sanctuary. When we come here, everything's okay, you know, and it feels better to come to work because you're surrounded by your friends and people that love you and support you. It's just really an amazing environment.
Our initial audience was very broad. Parents were watching it with their children, their young children. Teenagers were watching it with their friends. College students were watching it with their friends. And over the 10 years, they've just kept watching it, and those people have grown up, now have children of their own that watch it.
Now we have a whole new generation, people, young kids, like the 13-year-olds that missed us before watching FX now and catching up.
I swear that's half the reason we're still on, is that parents started watching too. It's, you know, I know so many parents that are addicted to the show just like their kids are.
You know, it's just this weird food chain that just kept going.
I mean, I meet people now who are, you know, 25. They started watching the show when they were 15.
It was a big family show. I mean, everywhere, you know, every time I went and did an appearance somewhere or talked to somebody else, and you know, these people would stand in line for hours to get an autograph or something, and you'd get this daughter and her mother who was just as excited to be up at the front of the line as her daughter was. And they would, I heard that 90% of the time, that the whole family would sit down and watch it.
Well, I think the biggest thing that the show did was bring families back together on certain levels, because 90210 was definitely, I think, one of the first young shows that dealt with really serious issues.
Everybody has the same problems. Everyone has the same experiences. You know, the life experiences of growing up are the life experiences of growing up.
Eating disorders, drug abuse, you know, relationships, you know, family problems, whatever.
And we kind of just go with the times and the issues that are current.
I got a few letters after the first drug addiction storyline that my character went through, of, you know, somebody that said, you know, that basically watching me do it made them realize how ridiculous it was what they were doing, and they stopped.
I was proud when we dealt with issues that were really, you know, that affect all of us.
You know, you do a show just hoping to entertain people, and when your show can make a difference in one person's life, it's pretty huge.
Kids could relate and be able to open up with their parents and be able to talk about these issues that they're seeing on TV.
I think the show opened doors for parents to communicate with their kids that they didn't have before, you know.
If you say that kids don't need condoms because they shouldn't be having sex in the first place, but you're overlooking two very important things. One is that a lot of kids are having sex, and the other is that they are kids.
You know, it's so easy to look at your own problems and think that you're the only one that's going through something, and all the pain that you're feeling in life or something going on is, you're alone. And I think to watch a show and see other people, you know, your age going through the same things kind of takes the pain out of it.
I'd like the show to be remembered as an issue-oriented program, one that touched a lot of people in a positive way, not just here in this country, but all over the world. And then I'd like it to be remembered as the Ian's Earring Show. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. 10 years, 90210. Don't I look good? Yeah.
If Ian's on the set, you're always going to laugh.
When he comes up with that #2 grin.
Ian on caffeine is something out of this world.
Ian's off the wall.
I've seen him actually go from standing position on the ground in this office and leap onto the desk in like one single jump.
I was amazed by his hair because I'd never seen a big white afro like that ever in my life.
Ian, you're so bad.
I didn't do anything to make everybody laugh.
I have done things, some things that I am not too proud of.
Check, please.
Ian's Earring has a lot of Steve qualities in him. He's a pretty funny guy.
Oh, what would I change? Ian's socks.
It's my buddy. He'll drive me home.
I can't.
This is my car.
Oh my God.
Ian's my brother. Ian is my older brother, and he will be for the rest of my life. And if I had to go home the day after we wrap here and know in my mind that I wasn't real and honest with him and he didn't get 100% of myself, that would be possibly one of the biggest letdowns for me.
Hey, Slop, buddy. I'm gonna remember you for this.
Coming up, Luke Perry's tips on lovemaking.
I remember him teaching me that it's a much better, like, sexier, sensual kiss if you drink really, really hot water before, like, your love scenes and, like, when you're making out with somebody.
I was always like, let it happen to me. Let something really bad actually happen to the character. So they did. They shot her, they burned her, raped her. They really took me seriously.
Jason talks about what he doesn't miss at 90210.
We ate the worst food every day without fail. I do not miss lunch.
And the cast takes home some souvenirs.
You think I'm kidding, don't you?
All when Beverly Hills 90210, the final goodbye, returns.
Make sure nobody knows. What's that? See any souvenirs you'd like here, Luke? Any souvenir?
I'd like that Panavision camera over here. I'd like to take that home. No, that's gotta stay. There's a reason for that.
Everybody on this crew can read me like a book. I don't hide anything from these people. I don't have to. You want to keep stuff from them and you can't, a lot of times. And that's just something that each and every one of them has earned that trust with me, and hopefully I have with them.
You're a superhero to me, pal. I should wear a medallion around my neck that says Ode to Dylan because you the man.
I always thought so.
Good. Good. Thank you and good night to the Peach Pit, ladies and gentlemen. That's a wrap on this set.
You know, it's only here toward the end of it when we start having to do these kind of things, and there are a lot of news crews around that you really have to stop and think about the things that you said.
There you go. Think I'm kidding, don't you?
The rest of the time, it's pretty much a big free-for-all.
They'll never know.
Because it's very safe.
Luke hasn't changed one bit. He is the same country bumpkin that he has always been.
My first year with Luke I remember my very first love scene was with him. And I remember him taking his shirt off going, okay, that's not possible. He's thinner than I am. He's got a tinier waist than me. That's not right.
Luke's really a hillbilly. I mean, he'll never admit it, but I know the true Luke.
Luke and I would, whenever we had scenes together, we would strip naked while we were doing the scene with the other person. The person who was off camera would strip naked, of course, trying to get the other person to laugh like you are now. Yeah, we used to do that to each other quite often.
Oh, he's got lots of farm animals.
I remember him teaching me that it's a much better, like, sexier, sensual kiss if you drink really, really hot water before, like, your love scenes and, like, when you're making out with somebody.
He's happiest driving a tractor, playing, you know, with his son and wife and having a good time.
I was really happy that he was coming back, actually. I was excited. It felt right, you know, it felt like, where'd you go? Why'd you leave in the first place? Here you are, and we were very happy to have him back. And I'm, you know, he's one of us, you know, he's just like family. Boy, you look great.
I am. Just step right back.
My character, I think more than any of the other characters, just has been through the most. Our show had always been kind of, you know, bad things that almost happened to beautiful people. That was like that the joke was over in the offices. But I was always like, let it happen to me. Let something really bad actually happen to the character. So they did. They shot her, they burned her, raped her. They really took me seriously.
Tommy, please, Tara, I don't want to die like this.
Oh, that was scary. The lesbian tried to pick up on me in the bathroom. We were locked in the house that was burning down. I got shot by a drive-by shooter. So many. It's just so many great memories.
Jenny's really, she's complex and yet simple at the same time. I mean, if you get a chance to know her and get to dig a little deeper, you realize that she's got a lot of depth of character. But, you know, on the day-to-day, she's very easygoing, very carefree, just a very loving person.
To be completely honest, we didn't get along when I first started on the show. Did she tell you that? Oh, no? Yeah, no, I think it was very strange. Oh gosh, new girl, what's this about kind of thing. And that lasted for the first few weeks. And then it just completely, that whole barrier was broken down, and I got to see the real Jenny, and I think Jenny really got to see the real me, and we became really, really, really close, really fast. And she, you know, she's been a great friend ever since.
I have to stay in touch with Jen, though, because I can't imagine Luca Bella, her baby, growing up and me not seeing her grow up.
We've been through a lot together. I mean, her having a child and me going through lots of boyfriends and, okay. I'm kidding, I'm really kidding. That might be a little true.
I was going through a terrible divorce, and one day out of nowhere, she just walked up to me, gave me a hug, didn't say a word. And I just remember thinking, that's all I needed, just a hug. So to me, that's what Jenny will always be.
Here it is, baby. Today's work. This would be me right here. What would I have changed? Well, tummy tuck, eye lift, pull the ears back a little bit, chin job, nose job, caps, you know, do it and all.
It's been great working in the warehouse here and everything, but not at Van Nuys.
I'm sure we would have all liked to have been originally at the Fox studio, but it didn't work out that way.
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing else around us, absolutely. There was no other shows, no other, you know, people, nobody else except for our cast and crew.
Summers are really hot. Winters aren't too pleasant.
It's not in the best neighborhood, but...
We wanted to be on a lot somewhere and have a commissary and, you know.
We had the worst lunches in history. We ate the worst food every day without fail. I do not miss lunch.
Try 10 years of Ian's egg whites in the makeup trailer in the morning. You'd want to have a commissary too. Trust me.
Come on, stop the complaining. Hair, makeup, where the hell are you?
what would happen is everybody said, you were the luckiest people in the world, and God knows we were really the luckiest people in the world, but on the other hand, it was so hard to say, I'm scared, like, I don't know how to handle this.
There were a lot of times where we just had, sit back over a beer and talk about what's happening to us, and, how we were all gonna make sure we stayed grounded.
This is like a lot going on, it's overwhelming, there's no book on this, and how do I handle it?
One of us was gonna throw the other person a lifeline if we saw something wrong.
I just retreated to my house and tried to calm my life down as much as I could, because things got a little frantic and frenetic for a while, and it wasn't anything that made me particularly comfortable.
And everybody took it differently. Some people got very quiet and introverted. Some people were really out there and exploring the limits and going for it. And then we'd come back, and the one place that things would balance out would be on stage, because that was the one place that we were all together.
Coming up, we'll show you some exclusive behind-the-scenes home videos of the 90210 cast.
I got some sideburns, man.
Luke Perry reveals how difficult it is to leave 90210.
For me, because I've done this before, and so I prepared myself for a lot of it. Second time around, hopefully it'll be a little easier for me.
And which of the 90210 cast members has changed the most in 10 years? All when Beverly Hills 90210, The Final Goodbye returns.
Action.
I think it's so hard to actually show people being friends if they're not friends, and we're all such good friends and family, and we look out for each other so much that what you see on TV, us being a group, it's real.
I've come to know Tori as an incredible woman, super talented, anything from comedy to drama. She's got her bases covered.
I was thinking of Tori and how much I'm going to miss her. All the amazing things that make up who she is, Great things, the funny things, the weird things, the sad things, the bad things, everything. I'm gonna miss every single thing.
She was quite shy, but very warm. Still, some people when they're shy like that, they still exude a great warmth to them, and she's always had that great warmth.
She's grown up to be a terrific young lady. She's really funny.
I want to do a few impressions.
Whose shirt is this on? Waterman? Honey?
She's a lot of fun. And she's really gotten some good style going. And I'm finally glad she got a hair color she likes.
Sometimes success is not only being in the right place at the right time, but leaving at the right time.
I know this last show for everybody else is kind of how I felt about a year and a half ago when I left.
Never, ever look back.
Bye.
For me, because I've done this before, and so I prepared myself for a lot of it. Second time around, hopefully it will be a little easier for me.
Take a really long vacation. That's the best thing.
It's going to take a lot of courage for everybody. Not because they don't want to move on, but because you just don't know what's out there. It's an unknown.
They're all adults in there, and they're all very intelligent people, and that they'll make their own decisions, and they'll be the right decisions for them.
I have no regrets.
Neither do I.
It was the greatest thing to do and the hardest thing to do, and I think that for me now, I look at the cast, and me as being emotional as I am, I cry for them too, because I know that they're afraid, and I know that they're excited and anticipating so much and not knowing what it's going to be like to leave this cocoon of security, of, something that's so familiar to them.
Sometimes you almost wish it hadn't gone on this long, because, it's just it's a deeper hole you got to dig yourself out of.
Coming back? Maybe.
Someday. Maybe not. You're in relationships a lot deeper than you thought, and you got to say goodbye to people, and you didn't realize the space that someone occupied in your life until you really stop and think, okay, no, they're not going to be there tomorrow. They're not going to be there next week. I mean, you can really start to get your mind around that. It's pretty sad.
Once you've been together, you're together forever. So, you know, their movement is, it's just an extension of a great, great life. Just a great life.
Coming up, the special relationship between Ian Ziering and Brian Austin Green.
He had a neck, I swear to God, I could almost palm his neck.
That was his show of size and power, was to carry me around by my neck.
And the final 90210 cast and crew photo. When Beverly Hills 90210, the final goodbye returns.
Brian's the most different. I think we would all agree on that.
He was shorter than me.
Oh, Brian was so little when we started. He was like a little boy, and now he's like this big, handsome actor boy.
He was small. He's not anymore, but he was small back then. And I remember him being small.
And his voice was so high, it was higher than mine.
But what's in a name?
He had a neck, I swear to God, I could almost palm his neck when he started. Oh, little Brian. We used to call him Young Bri.
Yeah, I was like 5'4" when we started doing the show, so he would pick me up by my neck. That was his show of size and power, was to carry me around by my neck. There's not much story to it. He did it every day. It was kind of a daily thing, you know? See him in the makeup trailer. Hey, Brian. Z, good morning. Pick me up, and hey, how you doing? With friends like Z, who needs enemies?
Look, I got one!
Thanks, guys. You did. I need a new one. It's broken. The light doesn't work.
I've loved this crew. I've never loved a crew more. I mean, it's amazing.
We got the best crew and cast in town. I mean, everybody says that, I guess, but I really mean it.
Aaron is real good at finding honest people. If you look at the people on the shows and the people that work for him, and you meet our crew, and you meet everybody here, and it's an amazing group of people, and it mirrors what the man in charge is.
When I first met Aaron, I thought, oh my God, he's the one who did Love Boat. Oh my God, Fantasy Island, and he did Charlie's Angels.
First of all, from what I understand, he's relatively new to the business, so I would say, hey, keep your chin up. You have a bright future in this business.
It's funny, he's amazing. I mean, through every change of time, he's done shows that just adapt, and it's the funniest thing. People would think he wouldn't know anything about doing a teen drama. And yet he's so hip to everything. He tells me about fashion. He's so in tune with all that, and he's just he's so great.
When I first came in and auditioned for 90210, and I remember, of course, being very nervous and excited and really thrilled to even be there. And I remember hearing my name being called, Tiffany, screaming. And I turn around and I look up in this window with all of the Fox executives and Aaron like sitting in the middle like God, you know, like he is the boss, saying with open arms, just welcome to the show. We're so excited. You've got the job.
Aaron's been sort of like, you know, a father figure in a way, like a father that I never see figure. Like he's just kind of there, like God somehow.
I've talked about Aaron a million times and tried to speak in a million different ways, and it always comes around to the same thing. He's one of the most loyal men I've ever met.
He's picked up the phone after the show had been on TV, you know, at 10 o'clock at night.
Ian, great job tonight. Really sold it for me. Working hard, guy.
And, you know, that just puts a big smile on my face. It makes me feel warm.
It changed my life, and thank you a million times. I've always tried to say that to him, so I hope, Aaron, I hope you get to see this.
You know, I'll say I worked with the big guy. When it's all over and done and people are going to be remembering, you know, the people of television, and he'll probably be at the top of the list, and I'll say, yeah, and that was a guy I started out with.
Aaron was the greatest teacher I ever had. He taught me about television, and he taught me about producing, and he taught me about life, and he taught me about friendship, and he taught me about honor. And I love Aaron with all my heart, and I will love him until the day I die. And he is just absolutely one of the greatest men I've ever known.
Oh, you dirty people. Okay, thank you.
Coming up, a special thank you to the fans of 90210.
Without them, we wouldn't have had a show. And I mean, I'm just so grateful to all of them.
And the cast shares their private thoughts on the final episode.
To think what life's going to be like without them, I can't imagine it.
When Beverly Hills 90210, The Final Goodbye returns.
Folks, just wait. You're in the next shot. Everybody just wait. Here we go. Ready? And left. Roll, please. Rolling.
Okay, smile. Okay.
That's the idea.
Nice.
We have great fans on our show.
It's really very flattering when people approach you and they tell you, you know, I was late to the prom because I didn't want to leave because your show was on. You know, it was the last thing. My wife wouldn't go to the hospital. She was having a baby. She didn't want to leave till the show was over. We had to drive in the car watching a small TV. When we got there, she named the baby after you. You know, we hear stories like that, crazy stuff.
I have people come up and telling me all the time, you know, you're such a great addition to the cast, and that feels so good because they've been doing this way before I was, and it's their show. You know, I really believe that.
People would send me gifts when I had my baby. They sent my baby gifts. How nice is that? Like knitting her things, you know? They don't even know me. It's so nice.
Without them, we wouldn't have had a show. And I mean, I'm just so grateful to all of them. Send a big kiss.
Now here I go again looking for love. I should have learned my lesson messing with these girls in the club. But yeah, I find myself in my new Cadillac riding high. I'm on my way to where these women want a piece of the pie. They do get served, that's my word, I ain't no fool, damn. So why you acting like you tough, stay in school, wham? I'm like that city where them brains are.
Right. You thought about me every night, and I was caged while you were free. So what, you remember me, and I remember you, and how hard you said you tried. You remember me, and I remember you, and how hard you said.
I'm gonna miss every single thing, the good and the bad. And I hope that people will remember me that way, remember all the facets of me and all the things that make me who I am. Because they certainly know a lot of different things about me. And that they still like me. And they still love me is a good thing, you know.
A lot of the funny little antics that, you know, we did in the makeup trailer and, you know, stuff like that, those are memories that you'll never forget. And I'm hoping that'll be the same for them with me.
I have my memories of them, and they will have their memories of me, and that's perfect.
You remember me, and I remember you, and how hard you said
You know what, generally I want to be remembered as a real person. That's what I want people to know me for, that regardless, I put myself out and I was honest to people. And that carries over into everything.
The thing that I would like people to remember is that I came in with a smile every day.
I'd like to think that I'd still know them. You know, I'd like to think that we would still be in touch. I don't know how realistic that is, but I think it's pretty realistic.
I will remember all these people as being a very significant part of my life. I hope that that's how I'm remembered to them.
I'm so in the present right now. I'm so full and so nourished with my relationships with these people that I can't imagine thinking of them in a way away from the show. To think what life's going to be like without them, I can't imagine it.
I don't want them to have to remember me because I want it to still be very much so in their lives. I don't want them to have to look back and be like, she was a great gal. I mean, I hope we're all still friends.
Hopefully I'm the same guy going out as I was coming in. You know, we've gone through a lot of stuff and it's going to make you different in some way, but I think if you can basically hold on to the core of who you are, you're really doing okay.
You remember me, and I remember you, and how hard you said you'd try. You remember me, and I remember you, and how hard you said you'd try. How you never thought you'd ever tell a lie. Well, that's a lie. You don't know the meaning of goodbye.